And welcome to the Pole Shift News. Guys, in this video I want to show you just briefly what we was talking about the other day with regards to the two magnetic poles currently over the northern hemisphere of the planet. So I want you to focus mainly over the Canadian pole, and what we're going to see when we run this video is the reduction in intensity over this region, and it mainly takes place from around 2011. I'm going to run the video a few times so you can keep going back to it as many times as you want, so that you can see the level of decrease in magnetic intensity over the Canadian region. Then we're going to do a little visual experiment just so you can see what to expect in the coming years. How long are we talking about? Probably 5 to maybe 7 years. We're going to see some major effects with the magnetic North Pole over the northern hemisphere. So I'm going to run the video and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'll run it a few times. As you can see over the Canadian pole right now, the intensity drops off dramatically over a period from 2011 to 2016. Now we've got 2 years missing from this data. I managed to find this on YouTube, which is an unlisted video. Obviously the data is coming from, as we know, the ESA. It's part of the Swarm mission that took a load of data and then compiled it into this imagery that we're looking at. But what you're looking at over the Canadian pole is a rapid reduction in magnetic intensity, and I just want to show you what we can expect as a result of that pole fading out now rapidly over that region. It's up two magnets, and as you can see the compass is pointing directly in between the two magnets. So the overall intensity of the two is what's directing our needles right now. If you go follow the United Kingdom all the way up north over towards the Arctic region, that is roughly where our magnetic pole is at the moment. Or not the pole, should I say, just the overall intensity which is driving the needles in that direction. If I remove one of the magnets, you can see straight away what happens. It points directly over to that one magnet. If I bring the magnet back over, you can see it sort of like shares, the overall intensity between the two. And right now, our equipment over here in the maverickstar observatory is no different from this compass. It's being drawn to the overall intensity in between the two poles, the one over Canada and the one over Siberia. What's happening as the intensity is dropping off over Canada is, as you can see, when I slowly remove the magnet away from the compass, it starts to go over to the main pole, and that is exactly what we can expect to see in the not too distant future. I reckon we've got about 5 years judging what we're seeing coming out of the ESA right now. We've already picked up some uptick in the movement over the magnetic pole, which is showing almost a 3-degree shift, which is around, I don't know, 150, might be 200 miles. But for it to do it in such a short period of time means that the magnetic pole, as the mainstream organisations are saying, is picking up. So when we see the dissipation of the overall intensity disappear from the Canadian pole, what we're going to be seeing is this. And this is why they're saying compasses are not going to be an ideal tool for navigation in the not too distant future, and that we're going to be able to rely on, as they claim, GPS. There are some discrepancies, let's say that, with regards to relying on GPS, because if we are going to see a rapid movement of the poles over the northern hemisphere, then it's going to be disruption, at least with the magnetosphere, which means all those satellites that are currently being protected by the Earth's by the Earth's magnetosphere are going to be put at more risk. And a moderate CME or coronal ejection could easily disable those satellites that are currently protected by the magnetosphere of the Earth. So the GPS, what we're actually being told we can rely on, is at risk if the poles start to migrate and in turn the magnetosphere starts to reduce. We are going to find it very difficult to navigate during that period of time. So guys, things are starting to certainly pick up with regards to the activity over the magnetic North Pole, and we haven't got, like these organisations was saying, hundreds if not thousands of years. The clock is ticking, and this anomaly now is at our doorstep. We are about to start to see some major changes with the magnetic North Pole. So guys, the time has come. We are at the door, like I say. We're about to start seeing major activity and pickup in the pole migration, and I suspect that this will be us entering into those weak field lines. Like I say, I would like to think that there is more than 5 years before we see the rapid shift in the North Pole. If it is, as I've anticipated for these years, a case where it goes into the weak field lines, these poles will begin to break up and move very rapidly, and during that period of time the magnetosphere is going to plummet, and as a result of what we've seen gradually taking place whilst it's been the poles have been moving and all migrating in the strong field lines, we have gradually seen all these weather anomalies, this weather chaos, the jet streams doubling in width, becoming more sluggish, mixing with subtropical to the polar jet streams, both northern and southern hemispheres, delivering droughts, hurricanes, flash floods, you name it. All this is going to accelerate during this period of time of the poles moving through those weaker field lines. And we're probably about 5 years away from that, or even less. Could be a couple more years, but I would doubt it, is what I'm saying. Judging on the speed of the reduction of the Canadian pole and the intensity dropping off since 2011 to its current date, I would say we probably have less than that time left. If we have 7 years, that will be, it. I don't think there's more than that. It's a very difficult thing to judge, and this is why we have now took it upon ourselves, to put these magnetometers in these high intensity regions on our planet right now. Guys, the organisations are very reluctant to come out and tell us the complete truth. We see Swarm over in the ESA not delivering data above level 2 clearance. The only thing we've got is what we have right now, is the maverickstar observatory and the efforts that we are now making to ensure we get that data so we can give an early warning, a heads up, and just inform people as and when these changes dramatically start to take place. That's all we can do. So as you guys already know, we have ordered all the parts. They should be here within the next 15 or so days. We then begin a week of putting them together, assembling the components. There's going to be videos on that, and there's also going to be videos on us programming them, doing the tests on them, then putting them in the package, sending them off to America, Canada, maybe over in China, maybe North China, South Russia. We're going to select these places best for these magnetometers to go, because we want to be either in the leaving vicinity of the high intensity region over Canada and the progressing vicinity of the high intensity region over Siberia, Russia and China right now. Also, we're going to put some magnetometers in mid-Australia, west and east, and if we can, we're going to try and get a couple over into the Falkland Islands. So there's going to be massive work going on. You're going to be following us as we do it, and we're going to show you pretty much every step of the way from here on out, and hopefully by the end of February, early March, these magnetometers will be in the positions. We'll do an early week's data collection from the sources where they'll be, and then we'll leave it perhaps for 2 weeks, and then we'll go into a month recording of data and delivering it to you guys, or perhaps even, you know, not even waiting a month. We'll just see how things move, because what I anticipate, if they're going to start picking up, then I think we need to start looking at the data more frequently. And if that is the case, then we'll start ticking, you know, shorter readings than month readings on them, and relaying that back up to the website, discussing about it, not just on the website but on YouTube, and informing you guys. That's what it's all about. So guys, let's get real. We've raised on PayPal and, as you can see, on Patreon, just short of £1,000, and that'll buy you an half reasonable push bike in the UK. What we're trying to do is increase our stakes and, you know, produce more quality data that tracks the intensity of those magnetic poles over the Earth. And, you know, we've got nearly 20,000 subscribers, and 105 of them, and probably another 20 of them on PayPal, have put up some coins for this. You know, we need to do a little bit more than this, guys, because it's not going to be something that's going to be done, built and then distributed. You know, there's going to be a lot of time and effort after that point that they've been built and distributed that's going to need, you know, continuous support. And we're trying to do this on a very, very small budget. You know, so guys, you know, absolutely big thank you, and I applaud those people that have put up some money for this at this moment. But we need to do a lot more than this. You know, at this rate, it's good, you know, because like I said, you know, last month we never had $670. We never had just under £1,000 in total for the project. But, you know, let's get real. It's a scientific project, you know, and even though I'm able to do the programming, the electronics, get these distributed, we've got the means and a little bit of a platform to do this, we still need more than, you know, the price of a half reasonable mountain bike to do it. So, you know, guys, I'll just say it once, the link's down there for the PayPal or the Patreon. You know, we need to raise the stakes a little bit if we're going to raise the stakes in collecting more data and improving our game. That's all I can say. And, you know, guys, I'll catch up with you over the weekend. I hope you've enjoyed the contents of this video and where we're planning to go with, you know, this in the future, in the not too distant future. We're talking 15 days away, guys, before we get these things built. You'll be seeing them built, programmed, tested, and then distributed. And we'll be seeing the data shortly after all that's built and distributed. So, you know, guys, links there. I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.